Welcome to yet another video of Brazil Malus. In this video, I'm going to explain the process involved in buying a property here in Australia. You know, the process of buying the property is not that hard to understand or follow, but at times it could be very confusing, especially for a new buyer. I'm not going into the details of what a buyer should do in terms of research of the suburb or getting a pre-approval, etc. So those are the obvious things that a buyer should be aware about. This video is an attempt to explain the steps involved in purchasing the property from the moment you give the expression of interest till the settlement date. Everything starts from the moment you like the property, right? So that the first thing you do after seeing and liking the property is to grab the expression of interest form from the real estate agent. There are a few details that will go into this document. So you clearly mention the address of the property and the purchase amount, the number of days that you will take to get the finance arranged. Typically that is 14 days. You have to mention the solicitor details, the phone number and the email address so that the seller can send across the soft copy of the contract letter to your solicitor. Next, you decide an initial amount you can transfer to the seller to hold the property. So make sure this amount is not so high, but somewhere between 1,000 and 5,000 should be fine. You also have to mention about the balance deposit. Typically that is 5% of the total purchase amount that you can transfer to them once the finance is approved. Yep. Now let's look at the timelines one by one. Say, for example, January 1st, you send the expression of interest to the seller. You then transfer the initial deposit, say $1,000, and attach the receipt and send it across to the seller. Now, if the owner is happy with the offer, he will let you know that he has accepted the offer. He might take a couple of days to arrange the contract, and then he will send a copy of the contract to your solicitor. So once your solicitor receives the contract, you can then arrange a meeting with him and then go to his office and reads and understand the contract and sign it in front of him. The solicitor also will sign the document. Solicitor will then forward that document to the seller's solicitor. So he will be basically sending the signed contract via email to the seller's solicitor. Now the seller and the seller's solicitor will also sign the document and then they will send it back to your solicitor. It is when your solicitor receives that signed document back from the seller that you consider it as the contract signed date. And that day your 14 days conditional contract period kicks in. You can then immediately send the copy of that contract to your mortgage broker and ask him to arrange for the loan. Please note that as per the contract, you only have 14 days for the finance approval. So keep pushing your mortgage broker and the bank and make sure that you get the loan approved before that 14-day period. Now let's take January 20th. You received that letter from the bank saying that your loan now got approved. Your contract would have clearly mentioned that you need to transfer the balance amount 5% within 2 days of the loan approval. So if today you get the loan approved, the same day or at least next day, you transfer that amount to your solicitor's trust account. Your solicitor will then acknowledge that, yeah, they received the payment, they will share a receipt and you then share that with your solicitor. So that means your loan got approved on 20th. Now your unconditional period kicks in, which means you have only 16 days for the settlement date. During this time, you will have discussion with your bank, go through the interest rates, and then you will then sign their document. The bank will create a home loan account and a transaction account. I'll explain about the transaction account later in this video. Make sure you arrange the internet banking so that you can yourself log in and check your transaction account details, the BSB and account number later. You will also receive a settlement letter from your solicitor explaining the amount involved in the settlement process. So you need to transfer all those money required for your settlement to your transaction account. You will also receive an invitation to sign up with the electronic property settlement system, which is PEXA. So you log into PEXA and confirm that your settlement date and time. Now let's quickly go through the important section of the contract itself. The contract will clearly mention the trust account, and this is the account to which you have to send or transfer the balance deposit. Make sure the finance date is 14 days and the settlement date is 30 days from the contract. This will be a typical invitation mail from your solicitor so that you can sign up with PEXA. Once you log in, you can verify the property address, the solicitor details, the settlement date and time right in the PEXA app. And these are some of the pre-settlement checklist and items that you can go through. I'm not going to the details of each and every step, but you can pause the video at this time and then you can read through it and understand each and every step. It's pretty self-explanatory. Yeah, now let's have a look at the most important component, which is the money. So you're purchasing a property which is 800,000 worth. You will then transfer 5% of that money, that amount, as the balance deposit to your seller's trust account. So the balance amount that you need to arrange is $760,000. Addition to that, there are other expenses that are involved, like council rate, stamp duty, which is the biggest component, which will come around $30,000 for a property which is worth $800,000. So combined all this amount, it will come nearly $796,200. This is just an example. So out of that, your bank will provide some amount, right? Because you are applying for the loan. Say you are applying for 80% of the loan amount, which means $640,000. The bank will provide you. So from your pocket, you have to spend $156,200. Okay, let's have a look at the timelines of the payment. So January 1st, when you let the property, you transfer $1,000 to the seller's trust account. January 20th, when the loan got approved, you transfer the rest of the balance amount, $39,000, to the seller's trust account. And then your solicitor will send you the settlement letter. In that they have mentioned $156,200 that you need to be transferring to your trust account and make that fund available for the settlement date. So on February 5th, you have that money sitting in your trust account. The PEXA will take care of the rest, right? And then settlement will happen and the house is in your name, right? So on the settlement day itself, you don't have to do anything special. Everything will happen through PEXA. Usually settlement starts around 2 p.m. and it will go for half an hour or just maximum 1 hour. And you will get a notification on the PEXA itself about the status of the settlement, whether it's a success or failure. And you can then be in touch with your solicitor and confirm that the settlement has happened, right? And then you can be in touch with your seller and then arrange for the collection of the key. So thank you for watching this video. If you have any comments, please comment out on the comment box. Please subscribe and like. Thank you.